Hi everyone, it's Tracy here from Art Fibre Stitch. Today I'm wanting to look at tie-dyeing. I have a lovely little friend who's having a baby soon, and in time for her baby shower I thought I'd tie-dye some baby clothes. She's a bit of a hippie, so she'll like this. I've gotten an assortment here of different little plain outfits, and I have got double O's and an O, and I thought, well, that will do for a little bit later. So they're tiny, aren't they? What do you do with them? I'm going to try this swirl, they call this fold. You pick a little bit in the center and then you try and twist and twist and twist. But, you know, look at all of these bits hanging off. It works a whole lot better on a giant t-shirt than it does on this. It's a bit of a tricky one. See, then you're supposed to, like the spokes on a wheel, tie string around it, and it makes a lovely pattern. But maybe we'll try a version of it. But there's plenty of ways to tie things to tie-dye. I try and choose here a little twist, and I don't really want it in the center. Sometimes there's some badly placed circles and things, but I like it off center, so maybe one on the hip, one on the shoulder, something like that. So I'm just twisting a little bit of the fabric, and then I'm tying a knot or a slip knot there, and then I'm going to wrap it around several times, and wherever the string is tight, those bits are going to be left without color or as much color. And the further into that solid bit of fabric, in the center of that twirl, well, much less dye will get through to that. So you never know exactly what you're going to get. It's very interesting though, and it's like Christmas at the end when you get to see what's going to happen. But you can see there I've done something, and I've done 3 on that one little piece. On the other one, the pinky one, I decided to try to do that swirl with some messy kind of string wrapped around. We'll see what happens. Now this one here, well, I could do one of these little concertina kind of folds. They work good with something wrapped around it as well, some string. But I did find this little chopstick, and I thought, let's try that. So I'm just putting it at one end and rolling the whole thing up. And once I've done that, I'm going to do the same. Get a bit of string or thread or something, and I've just tucked the sleeves in there so that they'll be part of it as well. I've got a nice neat little bundle this time. And with the string, I'm going to tie it at one end and then go around and around this little sausage shape, leaving gaps and having other bits where there's several pieces of string or just one. It's pretty random. So it's pretty hard to do 2 the same. You'd never do 2 the same. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. I mean, each piece will be unique, that's for sure. So there we go. I have my 3. Knot it off and make sure it doesn't come undone. Here they are, tiny little bundles. So the next thing I would have to do is think about dyeing them. We've done the tying up part. I'm just popping a few extra in before I start, just thinking, well, we'll see if that helps. Now I've gotten some plastic bags, this kind of dye, and people use all different kinds. You can buy all kinds of different dyes, but this one, it likes to cure for 12 to 24 hours. So I wrap it in plastic when I'm finished and let the dye develop. I like to use the Dry Marine K dyes, and they have you make a bit of a fixative from different ingredients, but if you're not set up for that, you can easily buy tie-dye kind of sets ready to go, or even those Dylon dyes. You'll find something. Here's that messy bundle I made. That will be interesting. So we're about to start. Now I like to, here's my dyes, and they come as a powder. So, and I have the fixative. I've put some in a little cup, or I'm going to. And I like to make a couple of different colours. So I'm going to make a pink. We're just adding a little bit of dye to my fixative there. And I'm just, see, it is here. I only make tiny bits up. This is only a tiny project. And what I did first actually was I just popped them quickly under the tap, just to get them a little bit moist to start with, and that would get the dye to run through the fabric better. So here's the pink, beautiful hot pink. But I wanted something else, so I added a little bit of yellow to the pink over in another little pot, and that gave me something, you know, close, but something that matches in. It's got that same base color in it. And I did another one with a tiny bit of a dark blue in there, so it made it more of a burgundy or a beetroot color. So using a mixture of these to get those different colors in there, and then I'm giving it a little massage when I finish. I decide at some stage that I don't want it to be quite so dramatic, so bright. I don't want it to be entirely white on the inside. Or I think that what I'll do is I'll water down some of this dye, and what happens then is that you end up with a paler color. So I'm going to water it down, and then I'm going to pour a little bit on and massage it through. So that's what I'm doing here. Tiny bit of dye, little drop of water, and I'm just going to use that to help that dye flow through a little bit. And then massaging it whilst it's in the plastic, that really helps too, to start the process of the dye moving. So there we go. That's one. Wrapping it up like this, putting it aside, and starting on the next. See how I've spilt some dye here? I'm just picking it up with this next one. I want that pink to run through all three outfits. She is having a baby girl, I've heard. And see how it's already started? That's lovely. But I want something else, so I'm adding now a bit more. I started with the one that was more of a beetroot colour. This is the hot pink colour. And I love mixing my own colours like this. I think it's great fun. So I should be wearing gloves. Let me mention that right now. I am wearing a tie-dye shirt, so it won't matter if I get dye on that. And that background there, I know that's confusing, but that is a piece of plastic, the only one I could find that would save the bench top. Now picking up dye off the plastic, it gives me a good start. And here's where I did my last one. I've got some lace here, you know, I thought that would be another great thing. I might just pop that in and see if it does anything. Well, it's going to dye the lace. You know, I had thought, well, maybe it'll, you know, it's an experiment. I think next time I'd try it a little differently, but I know, I'm all up for experimentation. You never know what you'll find. So here's this last one, and I'm going to pop in the last of my orangey pink. So that was yellow with a bit of the pink to start with. Yeah, and just spread it out a bit so that it's going to be in a few different places. And I'll just be using up my little bits of dye, really. And when I've got it, see there's quite a lot of white still on here. I'm just going to place some more of that lace in there. And just pour on some more that I've got left. It's the darker pink. I added that blue, and it sort of makes it a bit purpley. All right. So when that is done and I've exposed all these areas, I might be able to put some more dye on. See, I've got quite a bit of pink. Oh, quite a bit of white showing. Has that lace popped out again? Anyway, here it is in the bag. We've got 3 things. As you can see, these cute little bundles. It's very exciting, but I have to leave them now. I added some blue to this one. I just thought, let's see what it does. The other 2 are just the colours that we saw, but just let's see how it blends in. So that in plastic will stop the dye from dripping out everywhere. I'm happy to leave them now, and then I will have a look at them tomorrow. And that's what we're seeing. It is tomorrow, and I have let this dye set into the fabric. Look at those lovely colours. All right, so I'm into the laundry tub. I have my scissors, and what I'm going to do is take each one out and snip those little bits of string. And hopefully when we do expose it, we'll see that it's worked. We've got some little design. Let's have a look. Interesting. More to undo though. And that's what I mean. You could never repeat and do one exactly the same. It's always going to be different. They're all original. Now this is looking very bright, isn't it? That's because it's wet. Once it's dry, it'll look very different. But I do believe it's soaked up most of that dye. And this one here should be easy once I get it started. This is the twirl, remember? Where we twirled it and then I loosely tried to wrap it around and around it just to see what it would do. But this one's easy to undo. And this is my last. This might be a bit more tricky, but 3 little different twirls here. We'll see what kind of design I got. Oh, you can see the darker pink there. I can see that. Oh, I can see the orange. Oh, there's the lace. This is when we put the lace in and it's just dropped out. I love these reveals like this. It's like when I do eco dyeing and I see all different wonderful prints in it. But I'm happy. I'm happy so far. Aw, see, each one's different. They're cute. All right, so this is what we've got. This is them at the moment. Now that'll change a lot by the time it's dry. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just showing you the patterns. Isn't that lovely? This one's the most crazy. The other 2 are more subtle, but still tie-dye. I think she'll like them. So my first thing here is putting them in some water and just making sure the last of that dye is coming out. And look, it's only a very pale pink tinge to the water, so I think we're going to be fine here. But after that, I do give it a proper wash and a rinse, and I put it out to dry. So here's the process. We take some little garments, we tie them up, fold them, squish them, tie them, and then we dye it and pop it in plastic and wait, and then we have some fun stuff. But here's what it looks like when it's finished and dry. That's much more subtle, isn't it? And that is the one that we mixed it with the watered down dye. See, it's all blend all those little colours in. It's not too bad. I think I like the back better, but see how you get these sort of rings? That's from doing the little twists. See, here's another ring, another 2 rings. 3. Yeah. Just add some interest. So here is the other one. I like it too. This one was done on pink to start with, so there's no white on it at all. Very pale pink. Pretty. And this one here I think is my favourite. See, isn't that cute? I like it. So we've gotten some lovely random patterns and colours, and I think this is going to be great. I think she's really going to like these. Right, I hope you enjoyed watching me make this little pre-baby present, and maybe have a go yourself. It's wonderful making gifts for people. They're totally unique. So if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. If you've enjoyed the video, you can always donate if you want to. Thank you.